Hey people, it's NIyas713. Now this is from The Independent. Scientists create new living robots that have memory and are able to assemble themselves. Scientists have created new living robots that have memory and are able to assemble themselves. The xenobots are an updated version of biological machines that were first unveiled last year. Those living robots were made out of the cells of frogs by scientists from Tufts University and the University of Vermont. The tiny machines could conduct a host of tasks and actions, including moving themselves and other things around and demonstrating collective behavior as part of a swarm of such robots. The new version included a vast array of upgrades. They're able to assemble into a body from a host of single cells, do not need muscle cells to move around, and have a memory that can be used to record things that happen to them. They are also faster and more capable than the first version and have a longer lifespan. They can still work together and heal themselves. The researchers say they could be further upgraded to add a host of other capabilities that could be used to improve the environment or in healthcare. They could also help shed light on how exactly cells, such as those that make up a human, come together to form a whole that works as a system. They could help us understand how single-celled organisms turn into complex organisms that surround us and include us. The process that helped form the xenobots could tell us how we, too, were formed and gain capabilities such as being able to process information and understand things, researchers say. The work on the new xenobots is described in a paper published in the journal Science Robotics. The robots were built a little differently from the original versions, researchers say. They took stem cells from frog embryos and allowed them to begin assembling themselves as they would when the frog grows, forming into tiny balls with cilia, or small hair-like strands that be controlled by the organism. In a frog or human, those cilia would be found in places like lungs where they help push out harmful material. But the researchers were able to use them for an entirely different purpose, essentially reprogram the xenobot, so the cilia were used like tiny legs to move around. We are witnessing the remarkable plasticity of cellular collectives, which build a rudimentary new body that is quite distinct from their default, in this case a frog, despite having a completely normal genome, said Michael Levin, distinguished professor of biology and director of the Allen Discovery Center at Tufts University, and corresponding author of the study. In a frog embryo, cells cooperate to create a tadpole. Here, removed from that context, we see that cells can repurpose the genetically encoded hardware like cilia for new functions such as locomotion. It's amazing that cells can spontaneously take on new roles and create body plans and behaviors without long periods of evolutionary selection for those features. Researchers say the process is not dissimilar from the normal way of creating a robot, but just uses biological tissue to do so. In a way, the xenobots are constructed much like a traditional robot, only we use cells and tissues rather than artificial components to build the shape and create predictable behavior, said senior scientist Doug Blackiston, who co-first authored the study with research technician Emma Ledera. On the biology end, this approach is helping us to understand how cells communicate as they interact with one another during development and how we might better control those interactions. At the same time, scientists from the University of Vermont were running computer simulations of xenobots, working both together and apart to find how their shapes change their behaviors. These could then be used to select for specific behavior, such as gathering pieces of debris from within a set of particles. We know the task, but it's not at all obvious for people what a successful design should look like. That's where the supercomputer comes in and searches over the pace of all possible xenobot swarms to find the swarm that does the job best, said Josh Bongard, who led a team of computer scientists and robotic experts. We want xenobots to do useful work. Right now we're giving them simple tasks, but ultimately we're aiming for a new kind of living tool that could, for example, clean up microplastics in the ocean or contaminants in soil. I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'm going to leave this and other articles in the description so you could read it. If you would like to support this channel, leave my GoFundMe in the description. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave it there as well. If you'd like to buy one of my t-shirts, I'll leave that link there as well. Peace.